Good morning, children. Let us start with part 5 of Bhakti Sufi traditions, changes in religious beliefs and devotional texts approximate to the 18th century. In this part 5, I'll be dealing with Bhakti movement in particular. What was the Bhakti movement? Bhakti movement in Hinduism referred to ideas and engagement that emerged in the medieval era on love and devotion to religious concepts built around one or more gods and goddesses. There were many principles of the Bhakti movement, but the main one were: God is one. To worship God, men should serve humanity. All men are equal. Worshipping God with devotion is better than performing religious ceremonies and going on pilgrimages. And caste distinctions and superstitious practices are to be given up. So let us start with our part 5. New devotional paths. Dialogue and descent in North India. During the 14th and 15th centuries, Kabir was one of the most outstanding examples of a poet saint. Verses ascribed to Kabir have been compiled in 3 distinct traditions. Sources to reconstruct the life of Kabir. The Kabir Bijak is preserved by the Kabir Panth. The path or sect of Kabir was known as Kabir Panth in Varanasi and in Uttar Pradesh also. The Kabir Granthavali is associated with the Dadu Panth in Rajasthan, and many of his compositions are found in the Adi Granth Sahib. All these compilations were made after the death of Kabir. Kabir's poems have survived in several languages and dialects, and sometimes with special language of Nirgun poets. It was called as the Sant Bhasha, and others known as Ulat Basi. Ulat Basi were upside down sayings of Kabir. Teachings of Kabir. Kabir tried to describe the ultimate reality, including Islam. According to him, the ultimate reality was Allah, Khuda, Hazrat, and Pir. He also used certain Vedic terms such as Brahman and Atman. In the second part, sources to reconstruct the life of Kabir, the last line which was there was Ulat Basi. One word came, Ulat Basi, upside down sayings. Let me simplify the word for you. कबीर की उलट बासियां बड़ी अचंभे वाली हैं। उनको पढ़ने और सुनने से उनके पीछे लगे रहस्यवाद को जाना जाता है। सीधे सीधे न कहकर घुमा फिराकर उलटकर कविता माध्यम से कही हुई बात उलट बासी कहलाती है। Upside down language poems of Kabir were known as Ulat Basi. They intrigue because they are absurd, paradoxical, crazy, impenetrable, and yet they purport to be meaningful. Kabir's upside down poems are part of a long tradition in India and can be related to similar expressions across the world. He also used some yogic traditional terms such as shabd, sound, or shunya, emptiness. Some poems of Kabir expressed conflicting and diverse ideas. Some poems attacked Hindu polytheism and idol worship, and others used Sufi concept of zikr and ishq, that is love, to express the Hindu practice of Naam Simran, remembrance of God's name. Historians have tried to analyze the language, style, and content of these poems. Debates about whether Kabir was a Hindu or a Muslim by birth are well reflected in hagiographies. Hagiographies within the Vaishnav tradition suggest that he was born a Hindu, Kabir Das, but brought up by a poor Muslim community of weavers. They also suggest that he was initiated into bhakti by a guru who was Ramanand. The poems of Kabir used words Guru and Satguru but do not mention the name of any specific Guru. Historians pointed out that it is very difficult to establish that Ramanand and Kabir were contemporaries. Children, what is hagiography? A hagiography is a biography of a saint or an ecclesiastical leader, and by extension an adulatory and idealized biography of a founder, saint, monk, nun or icon in any of the world's religions. Baba Guru Nanak and the Sacred Word. Baba Guru Nanak was born in a village called Nankana Sahib near Ravi in Punjab in 1469. He trained to be an accountant and studied Persian. He was married at a young age, but he spent most of his time among Sufis and Bhakts. He also travelled widely. Teachings of Guru Nanak. His teachings are well reflected in his hymns. These hymns suggest that he advocated a form of Nirgun Bhakti. He rejected sacrifices, ritual baths, image worship, and the scriptures of Hindus and Muslims. According to him, the Absolute or Rabb had no gender or form. He proposed a simple way to connect to the divine by remembering the divine name. He expressed his ideas through hymns called Shabad in Punjabi, the language of the region, and sang with different ragas or rags. He organized his followers into a community. He set up rules for congregational worship, that was Sangat. He appointed one of his disciples, Angad, to succeed him as the preceptor or the Guru. Guru Nanak did not want to establish a new religion. After his death, his followers consolidated their own practices to form a distinct community. The fifth Guru, Guru Arjan, compiled Guru Nanak's hymns along with those of his four successors and other religious poets like Baba Farid, Ravidas and Kabir in the Adi Granth Sahib. These hymns called Gurbani are composed in various languages. The 10th Guru, Guru Gobind Singh, included the compositions of the 9th Guru, Guru Tegh Bahadur. This scripture was called the Guru Granth Sahib. Guru Gobind Singh also laid the foundation of the Khalsa Panth, that was the army of the pure. He also defined its 5 symbols, which were uncut hair, a dagger, a pair of shorts, a comb and a steel bangle. It was under the leadership of Guru Gobind Singh that the community became a socio-religious and military force. Uncut hair was kesh, a dagger kripan, a pair of shorts kach, a comb kanga and a steel bangle kada. Mirabai. Mirabai was a 16th century Hindu mystic poet and devotee of Krishna. She is a celebrated Bhakti saint, particularly in the North Indian Hindu tradition. Mirabai was born into a Rajput royal family in Kudki, Pali district of Rajasthan, and then she spent her childhood in Medta, Rajasthan. Mirabai was the best known women poet within the Bhakti tradition. She was a Rajput princess from Medta in Marwar. She was married to a prince of the Sisodia clan of Mewar against her wishes. She defied her husband and not submitted to the traditional role of wife and mother. She recognized Krishna, the avatar of Vishnu, as her lover. Her in-laws tried to poison her, but she escaped and lived as wandering singer, composing songs with intense expressions of emotion. Her most famous preceptor was Redas, a leather worker. It shows her defiance of the norms of caste society. She had donned the white robes of a widow or the saffron robe of the renouncer. Although she did not attract a sect or group of followers, she has been recognized as a source of inspiration for centuries. We get information about her from the bhajans attributed to her. Reconstructing histories of religious traditions. Historians used a variety of sources to reconstruct histories of religious traditions. These include stup, monasteries, and temples. Historians also draw on textual sources including devotional literature and hagiographies. These sources enable historians to understand certain religious beliefs and practices. They range from the simple direct language of the vachans of Basavanna to the ornate language of the Farman of the Mughal emperors. Understanding each type of text requires different skills. Historians have to acquire familiarity with several languages and to be aware of the subtle variations in style that characterize each type. That's all for this part, children. Thank you.